You're listening to Burn Rate and Bullshit, the show where founders, suits, and corporate clowns all get called the fuck out.
We're Josh Robinson and Mike Nathan, entrepreneurs turned VCs, with zero filters, strong opinions, and a bullshit detector set to high.
Welcome to the only podcast that actually tells it like it is.
I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.
Everyone loves to flex their runway like it's a weapon. But what good is cash if you've got no clue how to use it? We've watched startups drown in money and then die anyway. Survival? That comes down to brains, guts, and knowing when to pivot, not just padding the checking account.
I've seen founders get raised into a corner, more money than they can spend, and still one wrong quarter from shutting down. If you think Runway solves everything, you're burning through your own parachute. This one's for the operators, the grinders, and anyone who's had to make the buck last past the board's patience. So yeah, how much cash is too much cash or too little?
What the fuck is going on? What do you mean? What are you wearing?
My Santa hat. You don't like it? Come on.
Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas to you too.
Can't wear that.
How's the hair now? Is the hair fine?
Your hair looks great.
The usual?
Great.
Yeah, just fine.
What's great? Cash.
Cash. Nice to have. You notice when you don't have it, right?
Well, so a couple episodes ago, the title was Cash is King.
Familiar.
Yeah. And we talked about how cash was everything. Turns out maybe not.
So cash, obviously, cash is still king. So we can talk out of both sides of our mouth.
Sure.
It's a podcast.
It's our fucking podcast.
It's our podcast, right? And that was at least 3 episodes ago. But cash can, if you just raise, let's say $10 million, you think you're top of the world, you're king shit, no one can touch you. Holy cow, does that likely lead you to a lot of bad habits if you don't have good habits already set. Mm-hmm. Cash is king, but you can piss it away, or you can start a business model or a business pattern or behavior where you hire too many people, you spend money on the wrong thing, your KPIs are tied to a cash position when you should be looking at maybe future sales or inventory or whatever your business is. You can have it two ways. You can also be healthy in a cash poor position. You might have $10 million in AR ready to hit any day now.
As an example.
As one example. You know, just say you don't maybe go into a government shutdown or whatever it might be. Yeah. So you might be actually very healthy, but your cash position sucks. So you don't want to get too high or low on that alone.
It's funny you mentioned that. I found a statistic that over 80% of businesses fail, not because they're unprofitable, but because of cash flow, poor cash flow management. And I knew it was high. That blew me away. I mean, 4 out of 5 businesses are going to fail because of poor cash management.
I don't know the study you're talking about. I suspect it is a much smaller company, right? Where it's, probably less than 10
startups.
million.
Yeah, sorry. Early stage startups.
I would imagine. I mean, if you have, you got number 1, first rule, make payroll. Number 2, make good beer, whatever you make.
Yeah.
You got to do that. And you'd be surprised, most every startup we know about at early stage, 60, 70, 80% of your dollars is going to payroll. Mm-hmm. If you don't collect your stuff in a timely manner, have that revenue cycle management really tight, you are a month away from going under, likely 2 months. It can be really, really quick.
That same study that I was looking at also said that about 3/4 of companies have less than 12 months of cash on hand.
I believe that. Fucking, I'd be surprised if they have 3. It depends, again, varies from company to company, but if it's kind of a solopreneur, a couple, 3 people banging it out in a garage, if you have more than 6, good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Well, and the old adage is like 18 to 24 months. And now there's a lot of research that would suggest you should have 24 to 36 months. I've seen those things. I'm like, what fucking companies have that? I've never heard of a company having that.
I've never been asked for money in any pitch. If you sat down and pitch, say, we're super good for another 3 years, but I need some more money.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Likely, hopefully, if you're in a bad cash position, like some of these, like, let's say you have less than 12 months, at least have another indicator that you're kicking ass. I've got 100 customers to onboard this year. and that greens me up. I have a bunch of money coming from somewhere else, from sales we made a year ago or whatever that is, or it's a subscription model and it greens up over time. I wouldn't panic and hit the button just because you're sub 12, because there's likely probably a lot of value. Just at that stage, it's just a degree of magnitude, right? Yeah. You have to get it right. You cannot fuck around and have a bad month. Every month has got to hit, right, or you're out.
Right. But I think, so to your point of, hey, we can talk out of both sides of our mouth, that cash is king and a shit ton of cash is not always enough to solve the problem. It makes sense. If most companies have less than a year's worth of cash on hand, how the hell are they making it work? What else is there to it other than cash?
Well, the first thing as an old sales guy thinks about is sales, right?
Yeah, sales cures all.
Sales will cure all your dipshit moves. And I think if you do fall behind or you're thinking about that, I would be looking at, where's my sales velocity? What's the volume of my sales? And even the size of my average sale. I would be looking at, do all those things start to creep up? Then I don't worry about my cash position as much, right? And again, the earlier, the more that instinct of survival kicks in. Again, you're sub 5 million, sub 10 million. There's lots of dials you can turn on and off to either make payroll, keep the lights on, or sell something quick, or pull some cash forward. Ask a vendor to hang on for a second for a couple of, can you give us another week, another month, whatever that is?
Yeah.
I think you've got more flexibility there. So I'm told. We have some experience with that
song and dance once or twice.
Is that I think that's the Gypsy King approach, where you beg, borrow, and steal just to get to the next town and see what happens there. Don't advise that for everybody if you don't have the stomach for it. But it is a way to, if you're there, right? If you think your business model's clicking, if you've got a repeatable, teachable business model, keep rolling. But if you're just sort of shuffling the cards and there's nothing popping up, then you have to think about shutting it down even. I mean, weird as that sounds. There better be some indication, I don't know what it is, probably sales, because profitability sometimes is so weirdly placed or timed in a small company. Don't look at that alone.
How many months of cash in the bank makes Mike Nathan comfortable?
Depends on the company, but I got to be north of 3. And that's really low, I grant you. That's got to be north of 3. For me to invest, so let me take it from an operator standpoint. If I'm an operator, I'm cool and I'll glide and I'll grind with 3. Mm-hmm. If I'm an investor, I want to see double that, if not triple that, almost a year's worth before I slide money in. Mm-hmm. Unless I get an amazing valuation or great position in the company where that cash, my cash, solves some of that problem. But I don't want to be putting money in to sell the cash crunch. I want to bring it in to grow the son of a bitch, right? That's how I think. What about, you're going to be quadruple mine?
Well, I know as a recovering CFO, I've got a slightly different perspective. What did you think? What was that?
No. My Santa hat was fantastic, and you ripped on it.
Fuck you too. 3 months, I even as an operator, well, you and I have been in this situation together before. You can attest to how uneasy I get at 3 months of cash. No. I'm not a pleasant person.
Not a great guy to be around.
Normally I'm not, right? But especially when there's only 3 months of cash in the bank. So
extraordinarily not nice to be around. So
a year is where I like to see. And the reality is that's rarely realistic, right? Well, we just said, 3/4 of all companies have less than a year on hand. So it's not reality. I couple it with, if we're going to spend $1, what's our return window?
Yeah,
how long do we want to see those dollars come back? And marry it up that way. I would like to see at minimum a 90-day, I would say at maximum, kind of at, a 90-day return window if cash is really tight.
Yeah.
Meaning if you put $1 into something, you better be getting that $1 back and getting a return on it within the next 90 days. And if you can't tell a story of how that will happen, or if you can't build an assumption around why that would happen, it's probably not the right investment to make right now because cash is so tight. Now, the more cash you have, the longer you can expand that return window. But I try to look at it both ways and determining what gets me comfortable. But I would say I'm a wreck at 3 months of cash.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen. And, what's your sales cycle too? If you've got stuff sitting in AR for 90,
That's right.
120 days, I mean, that makes having 90 days of cash on hand real difficult.
So I'm gonna take a leap on something here as the sales guy in the office. This is why you bug the shit out of your sales rep and your people every week. What's going on? What do you have going on?
Yeah.
Because sales gets you out of this predicament of 3 months worth of cash or Twix or 12 or whatever it might be. What you need to do as a leader of an organization is have a pulse on how many times have we been at the gallows and like, yeah, but we've got the thing coming and the other thing right behind it. There's like hope. There's legitimate hope, prospect. There's a future there. No reason to fold your tents. We just got to figure out how do we squeeze through this window. Mm-hmm. Your weekly sales meetings, what's going on with business development, your check-ins, what's coming up, what's next, what can drop first. Because when time does when you fall then below your 3 months even, that's when you got to be banging on your sales guy or sales gal's, door and saying, hey, what can we pull forward right now?
Right.
You've been working on the fucking Joneses account forever. I need it to close now. You can't pull something out of thin air. It's got to be something you've been working on to accelerate, to green up your cash position, right?
Right.
And so some of your best insurance policy is a really active, healthy pipeline of whatever the hell you're selling. So when times do get tight, you can pull that forward. You can bring it forward. And I suspect on your end of the street, you have a good relationship with vendors. So if there is a delay, at least you were clean and making payments for a while. Like, hey, let me push back for just 1 month, man. I just need a breather. Can you hook me up?
Sales is one. I 100% agree with that. And I've seen that work. Sometimes there's a longer cycle there, or lead time, and you just don't have that runway.
That's right.
The other end of that spectrum is, and you mentioned this before, you just got to shut the thing down.
Yeah.
So we can talk to how do you get to that decision point. But what's in between those two kind of goalposts or endpoints of what else can you do? I'm thinking of a big pivot we made one time where we didn't shut it down, but we cut the company in half.
Mm-hmm.
We realized, hey, we have less than 90 days worth of cash.
That's right.
We've got certain markets in our business that show a lot of promise, and we don't think they're going to get profitable in the next 90 days. Just very unemotional. Well, they're done. We're going to shut them down tomorrow because we just don't have the runway to support them and let them get profitable.
I think they call that cut it to the bone strategy, right? You cut it to profitability, to the very last stick of whatever it is. If it, not one blade more on this camel's back can we afford to have, or, of straw. I also think about when you were saying, we have to cut down to the bone. It's the only thing we're doing is revenue generating activity.
Exactly.
Right? It's revenue generating. So if you're out there painting the side of the office building, you got to do something else. You got to go distribute flyers on the streets or something, right?
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be focused on closest to the money, getting more out there, just more lines in the water, more everything. Again, that's not a sustainable model, but that's in that pucker time, that oh shit time. You need to figure out, how do we keep this thing going for another 90 days with all the hope and all the things? Mm-hmm. You have to get really savage, really cold-blooded. You say, take the emotion out of it. Be objective, right? Not subjective. Objective. What actually drives our cash into our bank account? Mm-hmm. That's the calculus. Whoever's involved in that, let's have them keep doing that. Whoever's not, I don't say you get rid of them. You shut them down maybe, or you redirect them into doing some of those efforts. So I think cut to profitability, revenue generating, those are two really good tweener options.
I would footnote the cut to profitability kind of philosophy with be really intentional on what you're cutting, right? So don't cut something that is driving value. And the value usually is cash. And not always, right? You may be, there might be something that you're cutting out that is indirectly driving cash value. So be really intentional on what you're doing, because there's a lot of CFOs, there's a lot of other founders out there that'll tell you, well, you can't cut your way to profitability.
Yeah.
And And when you've got a really tight short runway, you kind of backed yourself into that corner and you have to do those things.
It is sometimes, although we avoided it in some of our scenarios, but I've been around in other companies where cash has gotten so tight. Well, let's get rid of the marketing manager because we really don't need the marketing manager anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I don't need a head of sales. I just need the sales.
That's just an expense line item, right?
It's like, no, you're thinking about this the wrong way. In fact, you need marketing now more than ever because ideally marketing is going to make your sales cycle shorter, faster, more profitable. Something that's stupid. Keep your marketing people, even though it doesn't have a direct link to someone giving you $1. It enables your sales force or your sales platform to do better. So marketing always seems to get a bad rap when it's time to start cutting heads or cutting
usually from
budget.
the sales team.
Well, that's where leaders have to be smarter than that, right? Yeah, because classic sales guy or gal's gonna be like, fucking marketing doesn't do anything anyway.
Yeah.
I sell it. I ask them for a different colored brochure and they won't give it to me, right? Fucking fire those dummies. When in fact, they're probably greasing the skids for you the whole way. You can't see it.
Yeah.
And as a leader of, or a founder of a new company, know that, to your point, be intentional. Non-revenue generating, great. But then think about how do you pull out of it? And when you do pull out of it, what's left, right? After we've done any downsizing, do we have enough? Do we have somebody pick up the phones in customer service at the end of the day? Because we're going to need to. Someone's going to need to do that. Or you're just going to cycle back to a shitty spot again.
What's the biggest bonfire of cash you've heard of?
And bonfire cash, you mean they've had way too much fucking money and it's burned.
And they just burn the whole fucking thing down.
Yeah. What's the biggest bonfire cash you've seen go up?
Not one that I was involved with, but a fun headline to always reference back to is, do you remember hearing about Zoom Pizza?
Yes.
Gosh, how many? This is probably
where are they out of?
5-ish, 10, maybe even that wasn't 10 years ago, but probably 5 years ago. They raised $500 million to do the robot pizza. It's going to make the pizza, deliver the pizza. It's going to do all this stuff, but with a robot, right? They raised $500 million. No one's ever fucking heard of them.
Where are they?
They're done. They went out. Raising a shit ton of cash isn't always, or rarely, is it enough to be successful? That's probably the biggest example of cash. Cash wasn't the only answer.
There was who's the crazy fucker at WeWork? I can't think of his name, but he burned through billions and tens of billions of dollars of investment, and that never quite paid out at all.
No.
Was it SoftBank that just got destroyed by that investment?
Well, they wrote down a shit ton on that investment.
Over $100 billion, because they were looking for $1 trillion valuation. Oh boy. Well,
their business model was, we're going to buy buildings and rent them out. And everybody was just creaming their pants over it too. Yeah. It's like, this sounds like
how do you make money doing
Wakefield Cushman? I mean, if it sounds like any other fucking real estate company I've ever heard of. What?
Yeah. No, you don't understand the nuances, Josh. There's kombucha on tap.
Oh yeah.
There's
I always forget
bring your dog to work day.
Yeah.
The ping pong table, obviously, foosball, all the requisite, douchey things that you need if you see them in the office run.
Let me ask this question though. How do you know? So whether you are struggling to make payroll or not, just kind of put that off to the side. Just in general, how do you know if a spend is strategic or a waste? How do you look at it? I mean, I've got probably more of a financial lens that I look at it in, but how do you look at it?
Yeah. So when you're talking about making like proper strategic investments, I think
it's like, hey, I want to spend $500,000 on this. How do I know? How do you evaluate that commitment or that spend?
I think it goes back to something you said earlier. You've got to have a number of ROI on it. Like I need to see it this year in an ROI or some reasonable time frame, especially if you're calling it an investment, it's likely a higher dollar amount than you'd normally spend. So I need to see it coming back this year, or it needs to materially add to the valuation of the company. I'm going to bring on an AI bot to make sure it reads my x-rays better. And that's going to make my x-ray reading company 3 times as large. That to me makes sense. I can see
and reduce the labor, right?
And reduce the labor. I can see the A to B to C. I won't get the ROI that year, but I will because later, because the value of my widget, my service, whatever it is, is so much more later. It's an enterprise value lifter. Not every dollar you spend is going to look like that. So I think you have the enterprise value creator investment. And then you have the other investment of, hey, I want to hire 10 extra reps on the West Coast. That's an investment. That one I think you got to tie back. For me, I want that tied back to this year's sale number.
Yep.
Or if you're hiring 10 now, it's December 25, I better have a monster budget in 2026. My numbers in 26.
Yeah, your revenue plan is going to.
I better sing if I'm going to make that big investment. So I think that I look at them through those two lenses. There's what's the P&L hit in the very near future, call it a year out, and then the enterprise value kick. That's how I would think about it.
It's like porn. You don't know really how to describe it, but you know it when you see it, right? Wasteful spend.
I almost fucking spit that out, by the way. That would have been great podcast material. I should as well with
People would have thought it was scripted.
it. Would have, yeah.
And that's not water, so I'd have been real pissed.
And
If you would have spit coffee on these white chinos.
Oh, you're
And I
such
would
a
have thought
fraud.
you'd done it on purpose after the Santa hat comment.
Oh, man. Don't get my chinos.
The wasteful spending, I think, is a difficult thing to just put into a one-sentence definition.
Yeah.
And when you see it, you know it.
You know it.
Like big, elaborate corporate offices being built out. We've got one of our portfolio companies, we always joke, their headquarters is in a fucking broom closet.
It is a broom closet.
It's a broom closet. And it's there because they have to have some kind of physical space, but it is not elaborate. They have put, I don't think they put any money into building it out. It's just whatever was there.
It's
The rent is, I mean, I think they might be paying the company to have a spot there and not the other way around. I mean, it's super cheap. Those are companies that you know are spending things in the right areas.
Without getting into the debate around remote or in office, when you start building out your office, it is, especially as a young company, a startup company, it is wildly expensive, or more than you think, to go get yourself an office. You think, I just plunk down $3,000 last month's rent. I'm straight.
It's not like a residential apartment.
No. You got to fucking pay $50,000 to hang a TV on the wall. Don't think I was joking about that. We built a conference room in the middle of one place, and like that's $50,000. How the fuck is that $50,000?
Yeah.
I can buy a double wide and park the bitch in here, right? And get a better set of features. But that to me, you better have your business model figured out, funded well, profitable. If you start blowing out 2-3 conference rooms with glass walls and doing that's a waste of money. Likely, unless your job or your business is to kiss people's asses in a really nice place, you don't need it.
There are some examples where it may make sense, right? I need a spot to pull together for a national training center, as an example.
Yeah, okay. You can
You know what I mean? Like there are some, but even then you can make a financial argument around, hey, we're spending all this money on process A. We could be spending less by process B if we build a space.
No, I'm tracking.
Right? Like there are ways to justify
more
that.
people are putting in the sofa lounger and trying to
100%.
do
the kombucha bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some CEOs require a couch in their office, flat screen TV, coffee maker, fridge.
I've heard of them.
Other Chase lounges inside there. Won't know any of them, but I mean, that's wasteful spending.
But those CEOs that are servant leaders will just do that.
Servant leaders,
They'll
right.
pay for that out of their own pocket.
Well,
They won't take company money.
Comes back in so many ways. You just don't see it. Or can't record it or measure it. But it comes back. It comes back.
Yeah.
What do you think about, it'd be interesting to get a CFO take on this. President's Club. Let's spend money on guys doing their job. Let me see if I can phrase it for you. Let's pay people to do the job we're already paying them to do. So does that sound what President's Club looks like for you?
Sounds like the allowance I give my children. This house was not enough. This food was not enough.
The free food,
to fucking empty the dishwasher.
The warmth in which you appreciate it.
Yeah. No. So there are roles in the world that their comp package is and ought to be incentive driven, and sales is 100% in that. I totally get that and support that. And if part of that incentive package is a president's club, fine, but then it needs to be included in the cost of that sales team.
Yeah.
The sales leader, the CEO, whoever is really pushing that to be the perk or to be the incentive, needs to be able to tell the story of how that truly is a motivator. I've known enough salespeople to know that that is a motivator for a lot of them.
It is.
To be able to say, at the open bar at a conference that they were in the President's Club.
Hey, that feels
that means something. I think it's fucking stupid.
Because you're a dick. But here's the thing, it's really cool to say to your wife, your spouse, whomever, or your friends, hey, I made President's Club this year.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal. Internally, I think about it, maybe not as coldly as you do, but I think about it this way. President's Club, or like those elite trips or those elite spending or incentives, better move you all the way down the field, not just halfway, not just 3/4 of the way. I mean, our budget's $1 million and you hit 4.5.
Yep.
We're going to Cabo.
Yeah.
We're going to Cabo. We're going to Disneyland. Whatever the fuck that people do, that's what we're doing. It can't be like, hey, we hit 1.1 million on our $1 million budget. We're 10%.
Let's go to Vegas.
Let's go to Vegas. No, you need to destroy it. I think that, and frankly, that's the sort of culture you want to reward. People that just kill, not just do the bare minimum. But don't be such a dick.
Probably the one aspect of all this cash conversation we haven't discussed is, how do you manage your board through this? Particularly when cash is tight. So you may get comfortable at 3 months or 6 months of cash.
Yeah.
Your board, which is likely investors, likely has a different window than you do, and a different comfort level than you do as the CEO or as one of the co-founders. How do you manage that?
Like you say, they're likely investors, so they're in there for an ROI. And they'll get it when you explain it this way. Hey, I can either spend money squirreling cash away for the arbitrary number of 5 versus 6, or sorry, 6 versus 5, whatever that is, or I can spend it growing your investment. Here's how we need to
play off that scarcity mindset.
Well, I would play off it slightly, yeah, because I think you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
We've talked about how the average company doesn't have more than 12, and it's kind of a mythical number to begin with anyway. You just have to, in a small startup, early stage startup, or even a even more mature company, you have to just watch cash all the time. I suspect this is only a season, and frankly, if you're talking to your board, it should only be a season. You should be explaining, like, this is a season of this particular company, meaning you're going to grow out of it. You're going to move into another season. Unless you stay in that season perpetually, then you need to fucking change something, and maybe your board is right. Change something. But it should only be a season. And I think you want to talk to your board about what are the drawbacks to taking a log off the fire, right? I'm going to defund something so that you, Mr. and Mrs. Board Member, feel better about my cash runway. I now have an extra 3 months. Extra 3 months of fucking around doing nothing and not growing.
Not growing sales.
That doesn't make sense to me. Let's go for it now while we've got the cash, while we've got the momentum. Those are the things I'd be thinking about.
The one thing I would add to that is, if you now have 3 months worth of cash and you're just telling your board about it, that's a big fucking problem.
That's a big problem. I think
they should not be surprised by that. Talk early and often to your board.
I think every MBA school, or if you offer an MBA, I've been saying this at Augsburg University, where I'm an advisor, they need to teach cap table.
Yeah.
Cap table math. How the fuck do you do a cap table and all the scenarios, because nobody knows how to do them.
Nope.
Nobody. Number 2, when's your cash out date? It should be updated every single day, every single month, every single board. Those 2 things, the cap table, when's your cash out date? Again, if you're talking about a cash out date and you're a 5-year-old senior company, something's materially broken in your company.
Agreed.
Early stage startups developing a new model, trying to find their repeatable, teachable business model, that's fine. You need to know, not think, know you're out of your cash out date all the time. And that's going to guide you as much as anything else.
And communicate that to your board.
Exactly. On paper, black and white. Remember the fucking financials I've been sending for the last 9 months, Jimmy? It said June. Well, it's June. I need another check.
Yeah.
We're out. Remember what I've been saying? Or what do you want to do? Shut it down?
as you'll recall, we've been discussing this.
Or my 15 fucking emails about us running out of cash. This is
Cash is gone.
Agree, though. You need to give, and likely a sales guy or gal founder is going to want to sell their board on something or smooth it, or don't be really direct. We're building value this way, where sales are here, our cash out's here. Mm-hmm. Don't try to influence that data point. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's April. It's April 10th. We're out of money. And let it sit there. And you'd be surprised, one, how big of a dick people can be. And number two, then conversely, how much they want to be helpful.
Yeah.
If you're giving them real honest feedback, real honest numbers, what's going on. If you try to massage it and make it sound better than it is, you just use just micro sort of fractures of trust. And eventually they don't believe, they don't believe what the fuck you're saying. If you say, hey, we wanted to hit that number, but we didn't, but here's our cash out date. Speak to me, board. What do you need me to do? Yeah. How should we be doing this? Here's my plan.
One of the things I think we've done well is from a CFO chair, forget the org chart for a second. When it comes to a fiduciary responsibility.
By the way, let's go deep on where you did really well.
What did I do really well?
Well, that's the question, apparently, at hand.
Which of my multitude of successes are you thinking of, Mike?
I just want to take a quick commercial break pause for how I did things perfect.
No, I mean how you and I have managed the board before.
Oh, sure.
Where, as a CFO, you report to the CEO on paper, and your fiduciary responsibility is to the board.
Yeah.
And so if you have a CEO that is trying to be very salesy on the rosy side of the picture, it's your responsibility to jump in and make sure they understand the brass tacks of it.
Yeah.
It's fine for the CEO to go, well, yes, all that's true. And here's how we see the pathway forward.
This is how we get out of it. Yeah.
Yep. And actually, I think if you can play that dynamic well between those two roles, it actually builds more trust and credibility with your board.
Completely.
Not only do they see it, they have thought through how to get out of it.
Because, and I think CFOs out there that might be thinking like, ooh, how do I screw over my CEO, or how do I, talk in a different direction than what it's not that at all. Mm-hmm. This is about the facts on the ground. And frankly, you mentioned it. It is about that credibility. And do I trust the number that Josh is telling me versus the plan Mike is telling me? Do those mesh somewhere?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? If we both were saying nothing to see here, we're all fine, don't worry about it, you will have your board scrambling, asking for more information. Can I see the other deck? Can I see accounts payable? Can I get a login to go check? If you're like, hey, listen, the CFO has to be the steward of sanity, reality. I don't have the permission to be wishful here. I have to be dead nuts, right? CEOs, for better or worse, get to be the dreamer. Don't worry about that because we've got the answer for it. Mm-hmm. You or the CFO has to say, yeah, but we're still going to worry about it because we're in a fucking pickle.
Yeah.
We're still in a pickle.
Right.
We got to sell for it. And if CFOs shirk at that responsibility, then they need to find a different gig. Because I'll tell you what, the board is counting on that CFO to deliver the straight number, the straight dope, the condition, a little less objective view of things. And frankly, if you're a good CEO, you probably have that chutzpah and that the glass is always half full mentality that either saves you or blinds you. Mm-hmm. Right? And sometimes both. Oh, the only one other piece I was going to say is oh shit, something's going to break. So it's this concept of you're down to 3 months of cash and you think that's what you need for all the expected things that you expect. How many times have we jumped up like, hey, just kidding, we forgot to file the paperwork on the 35W and that's going to cost you an extra $100,000 and we need it right now.
Actually yesterday, but
it was actually, we're going to pay penalties. Like how many times is that? I mean, you can plan for payroll and normal burn. Right. You better have 15, 20% of your budget of fuck off miscellaneous that just jumps up and bites you in the ass.
Yep. I would always have that kind of padding in there. Usually wouldn't even tell you about it, just so you wouldn't take it.
I know you would. Well, I've been squirreling this way. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad
You're putting this in the bank account, Mike, that you don't have access to.
right? Hey, real quick, the government's not going to pay you for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, what are we going to do for money? Well, we've got some set aside, but it can't be much. You can't take your trip to Cabo or
Quite yet.
yeah. It's those miscellaneous expenses. Same with legal. Nobody fucking budgets. I mean, in a startup, does anybody budget for legal? I put whenever I see $5 or $10 in legal, I fucking laugh my ass off. My attorney won't roll out of bed unless he gets his Maserati filled up, right? He's not going to go and, you got to put a couple of zeros at a minimum behind that.
This really is unscripted. That's it for this round of burn rate and bullshit, where the only thing we sugarcoat is our coffee.
If you like what you heard, great. If you didn't, even better. We're not here to make friends.
Next week, we're throwing down with the topic every founder lies about, culture. We'll break down why most so-called cultures are just Kool-Aid for the weak and how real values or real dysfunction can make or break a business. If you think a ping pong table and a mission statement will save you, think again. This episode's about the truth behind culture, eat strategy for breakfast, and how to spot a toxic workplace before it wrecks your next gig.
Hit subscribe, share it with someone who you think needs a reality check, and don't forget, cut the burn and call out the bullshit.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.